So what's happening in the Phoenix housing market? Is it still sizzling hot or are things starting to cool? I'll fill you in, and we are starting right now. All right, if you are new to this channel, I am Michelle Miller with Michelle Miller Realty and Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Arizona Properties. And I cover all things in the Phoenix Scottsdale market, including housing and things that are lifestyle related. And today we are talking about what is happening in our current housing market. And so I am also moving, which is why I can't find anything in my house. And so I have to wear my earbuds, so I apologize for that. And my glasses are like glowing, so I'm sorry about it. It's just, it's the way it is today. So, all right. So the start of the second quarter, the phrase of the day is low inventory. I mean, like low, low, low. And what is happening with the low inventory is that we are starting to see a feeding frenzy on anything that comes on the market. Our demand is actually dropping. I will put a chart up here. You can see all of the red dots on there. That is an indication of a significant change in demand in almost every market. People that are putting multiple offers in will probably say you're full of baloney because there doesn't seem to be a drop in demand. Well, the reason that's happening is just because we have such a limited supply that whatever comes on the market, you still have plenty of people that want it, but overall our demand is dropping. But as you can see from those numbers, we're so far into a seller's market that it's going to take a long way. If you need to be at 100 on that chart to be in a balanced market, and so we are like in a stratosphere of a seller's market and have been for a while, but this is bananas. All right, so why is demand dropping? One reason demand is dropping is that our prices have increased so dramatically that people just can't, they're getting priced out of the market. Secondly, local people are, maybe thinking about selling and want to take on that, but they can't find anywhere to go. So they're not adding to the supply, which is hurting us, and they're not adding to the demand, which is why demand is dropping. Snowbirds are starting to leave town, so that's going to drop the demand. And what's happening, and I have this personally with clients that I've been helping with, they've put offers out. I mean, I've written offers that are 50 or 100 grand over asking, and they're not getting the house, and they're leaving town empty-handed. So that also is dropping demand. Or people are just getting frustrated and be like, forget it. I just can't do it anymore. I got to take a break. So all of those things are contributing to the lower demand. All right. So what about prices? So prices, everybody's had the economics class, supply and demand, right? So low supply, demand, even though it's dropping, it's still high enough that the supply is so low that it's still driving our prices up. In fact, prices rose almost 10% in the last 11 weeks. That is substantial. They are calling for a potential annual price appreciation at 40% for 2021. So if you're sitting on a piece of property, you're going to cash in. You could cash in. Okay, so back to the chart. As you can see, 100 is a balanced market. So some of these areas you're in 400, 500, 600. We have to drop all the way back down and then let the prices catch up, because price is a lagging indicator. So the demand will drop and then prices will drop potentially 3 to 6 months later. But what we need is a drastic increase in supply. And unless we get that drastic increase in supply, we're not going to see any sort of shift in our prices for a long time, or at least that's the prediction. All right. Oh, and so on the people are starting to see rising prices, and the whole term, the bubble, comes back up. So, when they're asking me, do you think this is going to be a bubble? Okay. So for those of us that remember the last bubble vividly, that compared to now is two totally different things. The bubble last time was based on fake demand. People were never intending to live in those properties. They were buying them and flipping them and people would buy and flip and buy, flip. And so you'd have a house that was churning over and over and driving the price up. Secondly, lenders were letting people take out loans with zero money down. Who does that? So people were just going to walk away from their loan, and then they would just give the house back to the bank. They didn't care. Lending has changed drastically since then, thank goodness, and they actually require buyers to have skin in the game. What a genius concept that is. As you can see, the conditions are completely different here. Our demand is people that actually want to live in Arizona. They want to vacate their state because of taxes or whatever is happening, and we actually have people that are legitimately looking for a home to live in. All right, rentals. I am sorry to say that the rental market is not any better. Our rental prices are going through the roof. Our inventory of rentals is down 35% over last year. Those are available rentals. And part of that, I think, is what's happening too, is that because our housing prices are going up, even though our interest rates have been really good, people still can't afford to move out. They can't get the down payment or whatever, so they're having to stay put. And now their unit that may have been vacant in a more affordable time, after a year's time, they're now needing to stay, 2 or 3 years. So we have far fewer rental properties. So if you're an investor and you are holding on to some rental properties, you're probably doing very well with the increase in rent that you are collecting. All right, so as a recap, who is the big winner in this market? It is the person that has a property to sell and doesn't need to buy here. Or you can move, actually, if you can move to another area that's less expensive. Although I'm hearing people coming from all over, Seattle, Illinois, whatever, and every market seems to be hot. So if you're in that market, raise your hand because you're in the minority. But if that's the big winner, is if you can sell and you don't have to buy something, that's, you can really cash in. Also in this market, when it is kind of a frenzy like this, people will say, well, why should I use a realtor? I mean, I have so many people that want to buy my house. I don't really need to use an agent. And so an agent's role in this scenario the emphasis can be in a different spot. We always do marketing and consulting and all that stuff throughout the process. But when your demand is so high and people are writing all kinds of junk in these contracts just to get it done, seller beware. And an experienced agent will know what things to look out for, because people are writing. First of all, when people write stuff in your contract, like your radar better go up. But people are waiving appraisals. They're doing non-refundable earnest money, which non-refundable earnest money isn't always non-refundable earnest money. So that's where you need an agent to help guide you along this path. We also see this junk happening day in and day out, and we know what to look for, because the last thing you want to do is take an offer and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like a dream offer. And then you get 3 weeks into the process and this guy can't actually buy your house. Now you're back to ground zero. I'm telling you, that's not fun. So we actually do more than just open the door for people. We actually do guide you, and we have a lot of experience doing this day in and day out. So we do earn our commission, definitely. Plus there's a lot of liability that we take on as well. So if you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is below. I am here to help. And I will see you back here in 2 weeks. As I said, I am in the process of moving myself. And so I'm going to take next week off to pack and move my stuff. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.